So let's just dive in and talk about what is oxidative stress. And this is a new slide that I'm really excited about because my old one didn't show it as well as this does. And what you can see here is on the left-hand side, this is a healthy cell. This is a cell that you'd expect to see in anybody probably up until about the age of 25 to 30 years old. The cell is healthy, it's functioning, it doesn't have a buildup of old medications or viruses or toxins or built up in the cells. It looks very healthy and it's functioning correctly. What you can see in the second picture is a cell that's being attacked by free radicals. Now, free radicals are always there in your body. Even when you're young, that normal cell that you see on the left, there are still free radicals in your body being produced by your body. Every time you eat food and convert it to energy in your cells, you produce free radicals. Every time you breathe oxygen into your body and convert it for energy in the cells, you create free radicals. The way we live today makes way more free radicals than our body is actually designed to handle. But in early life, up until about the age of 21 to 25, your body produces its own antioxidants. Not antioxidants that you eat in your diet, not antioxidants that you take through a supplement, but actual physical enzymes and hormones that your body produces that make sure these free radicals do not affect the health of your cells. That is so you can become a fully fledged, fully grown adult without deformities in a perfect scenario. Now, about the age of 21 to 25 years old, once you're fully developed as a human, your survival gene goes into decline. It starts to downregulate, switch off. And this is the start of the aging process. Once the survival gene downregulates, the enzymes that used to keep this lovely, beautiful cell on the left-hand side healthy and free from damage, they start to go into decline pretty rapidly from the age of 25. So the cell you see in the middle is probably that of what you'd expect to see of a 45-year-old. The enzymes are no longer there to protect the cell. So the free radicals are now causing havoc and damage where they wouldn't have before. They cause damage to the wall of the cell, what comes into the cell, what goes out of the cell. The way that the cell cleans itself and removes waste out of it is affected. The DNA of the cell and how it reproduces itself is also affected. So are these little wiggly bits here called the mitochondria that produce all of the energy that your cell needs to do the function that it's required to do. And so this is where you start to feel the onset of oxidative stress or the free radicals raising in your body and the natural defense to reduce them wearing off. Now this, what you see on the right-hand side, is what you'll probably start to experience from the age of 60, 65, 70 onwards. And this is where you really start to get a reduction in cellular function, in the ability to reproduce themselves correctly. And we all know what happens when a cell reproduces itself incorrectly, I think. I'm not going to say the word, but we all know that that means irregular cells lead to something else that we all know about. And so this is where you start to get a lot of problems. But you could be 30 years old and have a body of a 50, 60 or 70-year-old. So you could be 35, but your body could be functioning of that of somebody of 55 or 60, depending on your health, your medication, how well you've looked after yourself, how well you sleep, all of these other things. So this is oxidative stress. It is a natural phenomenon that happens in your body by nature. Just imagine We were created that we cannot live without oxygen for 3 minutes, more than 3 minutes. But ultimately, oxygen is the thing that's going to take us out in the end. It's like guaranteed that we're not going to overpopulate the planet, right? So that is oxidative stress. It is the decline of your body's protection for cellular health and the increase of these natural free radicals, which are harmless until later life when we don't have the natural protection to take care of them. So what does it look and feel like to us? Well, it feels like, hey ho, chronic fatigue. That's what I had, chronic burnout. It looks like having no energy, no mental energy, brain fog, lack of concentration, loss of memory, aches, pains, often sick, headaches, migraines, menopausal symptoms, ADHD, you name it. Oxidative stress, anything that has is like psoriasis, arthritis, anything with is an inflammatory condition is going to be related to oxidative stress. Anything that is a degenerative health issue is going to be related to oxidative stress. And we don't just see it in humans. This happens to everything. If you leave, an apple on the side, cut it in half and leave it on the side for a few hours, you'll come back and it'll be brown. And that is literally oxygen attacking the cells, and the cells not being able to protect themselves because the skin's been opened and the inside is exposed to the oxygen. The same thing happens if you leave a barbecue in the garden and don't put it away in the winter. Next season, it will be full of rust. That is also oxidation. Now, here's the thing. As I said, that's a natural phenomenon. It's something that happens in all of us. And by the way, it doesn't matter how healthy you are, how green you are, how clean your diet is. It helps, but you cannot avoid this in the life we live today. Now, what adds to that is that today, our environment is way more toxic than it ever has been in the last 30 years. Cancer rates in the last 30 years have gone from 1 in 30 to 1 in 2. So in the last 30 years, cancer rates have gone to 1 in 30 people, or it might have been 1 in 20 actually, to 1 in 2. Now, what has happened in the last 30 years for that to happen? Well, we're living a much faster paced lifestyle. We're living in stress, which raises and increases oxidative stress in our bodies, as well as other hormonal imbalances. We're eating really bad processed food that our bodies are not designed to break down and process. The water that we drink, the air that we breathe, the products that we use are causing additional toxic burdens on our bodies on top of that natural oxidation process that we already face. Now, here's the other thing. How many of you heard of fibromyalgia 30 years ago? Not many. I worked in the US about 20, oh gosh, it might even be 25 years ago now. So, and everyone, it was very common. I'd never heard of it. I came from the UK. I'd worked in the beauty industry there. I'd done massage treatments for years there too. And I went to the US and everybody had lupus and everybody had fibromyalgia and all of these fatigue and autoimmune diseases that I'd never heard of. Come home 10, 15 years later, and what do we have now? We have massive amounts of these chronic fatigue, MS, fibromyalgia, these overload stress systems on our bodies, because we're living a lifestyle that really we're not actually designed to be able to cope with. So that causes mitochondrial dysfunction, which leads to energy production issues in your body. It causes leaky gut and inflammatory issues in the microbiome balance of your digestive system, which is linked to your brain and every part of your health. It can look like weight gain, poor sleep, hormonal imbalance, your lowered immune system, aches and pains, and so much more. So it is something that everybody should be aware of. And it is linked to just about any form of degenerative health issue that you're ever going to come across. So cardiovascular health, your skin, your organs, your joints, your lungs, your brain, your immune system, your eyes are all affected by oxidative stress. So I want to just nip over to the internet for a second. Because I want to, as I said, show you that it's not just me saying all this stuff. And if we go to this website right here, it's called PubMed, okay? It is the National Library of Medicine, and it is used all over the world by scientists, researchers, medical students, doctors, when they're doing their own research. Any research that has been reviewed by peers and published in a medical journal, meaning it is credible information that you should be aware of if you're in that particular field, it'll be published on this website, okay? So if you go to that site and you put in oxidative stress into the National Library of Medicine, a few things I want to show you here. One of them is you will see there are over 319,000 studies that have been published on oxidative stress. But what I also want to show you is this little bar chart that you see at the left-hand side. Up until the year 2000, there was barely any research on oxidative stress at all. You can see in the year 2000, there were 3,000 studies done. Before that, let's go 10 years before that. So what would that be? Oh, don't even know if it'll let me show it. It's that small. There was nothing. There was probably 150, I'm not sure. Let's see. So that year, oh, it won't show me that way. Anyway, so let's go back to 2000. In the year 2000, there was 3,000 studies published, thereabout. Let's go forward 10 years to 2010. 12,000 studies, 12,500 studies published that year. So 3, 6, 9, 12. So we'd not doubled, we'd 4 times the amount of research in 2010 than there was in 2000. Fast forward to 2020, it's doubled again to 22,000 studies a year, actually nearly 23,000 studies published every year on the effects of oxidative stress. And if you go to last year, there was 30,000 studies published. So what does that tell you? It tells you that from just before 2000, the research into oxidative stress and the effect that it has on our health is rocketing. And the pharmaceutical industries are plowing millions into researching ways to combat it. Now, I'm going to talk about what we use to combat it here in just a moment. But I want to show you what comes up if you look into this search. So if you look here, and you can go to this website yourself and you can do a specific search, for example, on if you wanted to put oxidative stress and arthritis in here into the National Library of Medicine, you can do that and it will show you how much research has been done. If we put in cardiovascular disease, which is the #1 killer in Europe, cardiovascular disease. For example, there's about 30,000 studies, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if I've typed that. Yeah, so, oh, wow, it's gone up a lot since last time I looked. There's nearly 50,000 studies published on the effects of oxidative stress and cardiovascular disease. So that would cover arterial sclerosis and high blood pressure. And I don't know if it would cover blood sugars as well. But you can go here and put oxidative stress and a keyword, and you can find, the more common it is, the more research obviously there is, but inflammation, cancer, you name it. There is a lot of research going into the effects of oxidative stress. So if you just look down the list here, if I go back a page, one more, you'll see that coming up in the list, for example, they're looking at the effects of Alzheimer's, metabolic disorder, osteoporosis, arterial sclerosis, cardiovascular disease, infertility, heart failure, oxidative stress in health and disease, the therapeutic potential of Nrf2 activation, which is what our product actually does. I'll share that with you in a minute. So then our product that we want to talk to you about how you fight oxidative stress, if you put the name of that product into the National Library of Medicine, you'll see that there are there's actually about 32 studies, but there's 28 that have been published, peer-reviewed and published, so they're on the National Library of Medicine. So each and every single one of these is for something different. So this is looking at oxidative stress and the therapeutic potential of Nrf2 activation in health and disease, longevity of life, the effects on MS, all of these things. But what I'm not trying to say to you here is that our product treats, cures, or prevents any of these, because legally we're not allowed to do so. But what I am showing you with all of these 28 studies is that each and every single one of them, if you read into them, show you that when you take the product, you produce these enzymes that you used to produce in early life that kept your cells healthy. And it's shown to reduce oxidative stress on average by 40% in 30 days and up to 80% in 160 days. And in all people, in every case that they studied, everybody's was reduced back to what they would expect to see in a young person. Now, I don't know about you, but I personally would like to see anything in my body returned to what it was when I was 21. Sign me up. I'm in. And so I was like, give it to me now. Like, I need this. I want to try it. So let me just go back to the slides a second. Sorry for swapping in and out. So here you see, this is the older picture of oxidative stress. You've got the normal cell, you've got the free radicals starting to take a hold, and then the damage and all the other things that are happening inside your cells taking place. When you take Protandim Nrf2, which is this little product right here, it reverses this process. So what it does is it upregulates the survival gene. With that, you start pumping out these enzymes that you used to produce in early life, and you reverse this system so that your cells start looking and feeling and operating like they did back here. The older you are, the longer it takes. The more stress there is in your body, the longer it takes. So the creator of the product says you need to do it for about 1 month for every decade you've been alive. So if you're 50, you're looking at about 5 months. I say to everybody, you need a minimum of 3 to 6 months in your system to get the full benefit. It takes a while for the enzymes to come on, for them to start working, and then for the healing and the balancing to take place after you have got that process moving. So as you can see here, up until today, and by the way, if you think back to that website I just showed you, there was barely any research into this up until the 2000s. This product was created in 2003. It was 20 years ahead of anybody else. He'd been studying this subject for 40 years before anybody ever even knew what was going on here. And so nobody started looking into oxidative stress until 2000-ish. We already had a product in 2003 that was clinically shown to switch back on your enzymes and reduce oxidative stress in a massive way, as I said, like a superhero. So let's talk about antioxidants, because this is a common question that comes up. Antioxidants come in two formats. They come in I can never say this word. Somebody say it for me. I can't say it. But the ones that come from outside of your body, the ones that come from food, and supplements. So the antioxidants that you get through vitamins, minerals, diet, supplementation, food, plants, those are what most people know antioxidants are. But you also have indigenous antioxidants. Those are natural antioxidants that your body produces itself, okay? They come in the forms of non-enzymatic and enzymatic, but they're produced by your body. So let me give you an example. If you were using food or nutritional antioxidants as a way to get rid of oxidative stress, it would be like using a cup of water to put out a house fire. For years, we've been pushed this story of antioxidants, but actually they're not that effective. What you need is your body's own antioxidants. So one molecule of vitamin C, for example, will kill 800,000 free radicals, maybe even 300,000 free radicals. One molecule of vitamin C. One molecule of your body's own enzyme will kill 1 million free radicals per second, every second for 3 days. It's like putting a fire hose in every single room of the house to put the fire out. That is the difference. So don't confuse this with an antioxidant. That is not what this is. This is genetically upregulating in a very safe and natural way a gene in your body that is responsible for producing the body's own, which are 1 million times more effective than anything you can eat through diet or a supplement. It is completely safe. There are no contraindications unless you have had an organ transplant recently and you're on autoimmune suppressants because of the organ. Now, if you're on autoimmune suppressants because you have psoriasis or another autoimmune disease, it's absolutely fine. But that is the only major contraindication. And also, if you're on any form of anticoagulant, you can still take it. Just get guidance from the person that invited you to the presentation, and they will advise you on how you can do that safely with the right guidance. It is 100% natural. It is not the individual ingredients that are in it. It is a patented blend of a specific ratio of all 5 that are proven clinically by 28 peer-reviewed published studies to upregulate the gene and reintroduce the enzymes back into your body. It's proven to reduce oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days. Now, understanding what oxidative stress is and what it does in your body, I don't know anybody in their right mind who would not want to do that. It helps your body detoxify the cells while preserving the cellular function. So it gets rid of all the old viruses and medications and old bacteria that you're holding in your cells, helps to clean and detoxify the cells a lot quicker. It reduces cellular stress through helping to reduce oxidation. And it helps the body to be able to naturally repair its own cells. And it also helps regulate the survival gene. So that is why we're so excited about this stuff. And as you'll see here, this is a little graph on the right-hand side. It shows you oxidative stress on the left, your age in years along the bottom. Without Protandim, your oxidative stress is going up and up and up and up and up as you get older. But if you're taking Protandim, that is being regulated to what it would have been in earlier life. And that, my friends, is why you should take Protandim Nrf2. Now, I'm not going to go through it just for the sake of time this evening, but Protandim does have another friend called Nrf1. So Protandim Nrf2 is the blue one that you see on the left. His friend is Nrf1, and ideally you would want to use these two together as a 1-2 punch against aging. The Nrf1 helps increase mitochondria function. As I mentioned before, the mitochondria are what create the energy that all of your cells live on. They too get depleted and inefficient as we get older. So Nrf1 helps increase the cellular energy function. The Nrf2 helps to make sure that your cells are working and functioning effectively and protected and healthy. So ideally, you can use Nrf2 on its own, you can use the two together, or you might want to combine it with one of our other ProBio or iSupport products. The person that invited you to the presentation will be able to help and guide you